Imagine a single decision sending shockwaves across the globe. What if the fate of millions and the balance of world power hinged on a standoff in Southeast Asia? This is not fiction. This is the story of a nation pushed to the brink and the world holding its breath for what comes next. The world watched as a critical situation unfolded in the Southeast Asia, touching upon global trade and the balance of power. News outlets broadcasted updates while observers analyzed every move. July 4th, 2025, a day of reckoning for the Philippines, marking a turning point with far-reaching consequences. In Beijing, President Xi Jinping delivered a chilling message, signaling a dramatic shift in the geopolitical landscape. Sweeping economic sanctions against Manila, setting in motion a chain of events that would test the resilience of the Filipino people. The reason? Philippine actions in the West Philippine Sea. A long-standing territorial dispute had reached a boiling point, the fallout up to 3 million Filipino jobs at risk overnight. This wasn't just politics, it was a direct threat to families across the archipelago. Each job lost meant a family in crisis. The Philippine Stock Exchange plunged. Emergency meetings erupted in Malacanang, seeking solutions to avert a full-blown economic catastrophe. The nation's economic stability, built over decades, now faced its greatest test. The world watched as over 115 million Filipinos stood on the edge of an economic cliff. That balance just shattered, leaving the Philippines exposed and vulnerable. Beijing's move forced a choice: alliances or economic security. The stakes, nothing less than the future of the nation. The question on everyone's mind: what happens next? The dragon had roared. The Philippines was in the blast zone. The countdown to crisis had begun. The world waited for the Philippines' response. Beijing's sanctions were a multi-pronged economic offensive designed to cripple key sectors, targeting the Philippines' most vital sectors. First, a total ban on Philippine agricultural exports, a devastating blow. Bananas, pineapples were suddenly rendered worthless in their primary market. Second, a strategic cut of rare earth exports to the Philippines, a move that struck at the heart of the nation's tech sector. Without them, the electronics industry, over 60% of Philippine exports, the engine of the nation's economic growth, faced paralysis. Third, a blacklisting of major Filipino companies and executives, a direct assault on the nation's business elite. The message: defy Beijing, pay the price. Beijing was leveraging its economic might to force Manila's hand, reverse course or face collapse. The roots of this crisis lie in the West Philippine Sea. The Philippines, backed by a 2016 tribunal ruling, has long clashed with China over these contested waters. Recent months saw Manila document and publicize Chinese aggression and deepen military ties with the US through joint patrols and expanded base access. Beijing saw these moves as direct provocations, crossing a red line. The sanctions were swift retaliation, meant to punish Manila and warn others. This isn't just about territory, it's about sovereignty, resources, and regional power. The West Philippine Sea became the flashpoint for a full-blown economic war. Three pillars of the Philippine economy now stand on the brink. Electronics, the nation's top export, faces shutdown as rare earth supplies vanish. Hundreds of thousands of high-skilled jobs are at risk. Agriculture, the rural backbone, is devastated by the sudden loss of the Chinese market. Farmers and fishermen face plummeting prices and unsold harvests. The BPO and manufacturing sectors are threatened by cascading effects. Factory closures, lost contracts, and fleeing investors. These aren't just numbers, they're families, futures, and communities. The sanctions are designed to trigger a domino effect, amplifying the pain. The government faces a race to prevent total collapse. The nation's economic heart is under siege. The impact of sanctions is hitting hardest in key regions. CALABARZON, Cavite, Laguna, Batangas, Rizal, Quezon faces mass layoffs as electronics factories stall. Central Luzon's manufacturing and agriculture grind to a halt, threatening food security and jobs. In Mindanao's Davao region, the fruit basket of the Philippines, the Chinese import ban devastates banana and pineapple growers. These regions are the engines of the economy, and now the epicenters of crisis. Beijing's strategy: inflict local pain to spark national pressure for policy change. The front line of this economic war runs through the provinces. The Philippine government scrambles for solutions. First, diversify exports, seek new markets in Japan, South Korea, Australia, and the Middle East. Emergency stimulus is rolled out, aid for farmers, loans for factories, tax breaks for struggling companies. The goal, keep industries afloat and families fed. On the industrial front, Manila races to secure rare earths from allies like the US and Australia. These fixes are costly and slow but vital. The government is in a race against time, patching holes before the economic ship sinks. Every move is a gamble, but inaction means disaster. The nation's survival depends on swift, creative action. Survival now hinges on diplomacy as much as economics. Manila rallies international support, framing China's sanctions as economic coercion. The US-Philippines alliance is put to the test. Washington's response will shape the region's future. Within ASEAN, Manila pushes for unity, but many neighbors fear becoming the next target. The Philippines must balance assertiveness with back-channel diplomacy, seeking off-ramps to de-escalate the stakes, sovereignty, alliances, and the regional order. Every diplomatic move could tip the balance between crisis and resolution. Beijing's sanctions are part of a grander strategy. The goal, make an example of the Philippines, warning ASEAN not to defy China or side with the US. By targeting Manila, Beijing tests America's credibility as an ally. If the US falters, China's influence grows. If Manila endures, the region may unite against coercion. Economic pressure is China's tool to reshape Asia's order, rewarding compliance, punishing defiance. The outcome will set the tone for power dynamics in the Indo-Pacific. The world is watching to see who blinks first. The Philippines stands at a crossroads, a pivotal moment in its history. The decisions made in the coming weeks and months will reverberate for years to come, shaping the nation's trajectory and its role on the global stage. The archipelago nation faces a complex web of challenges, both internal and external, that demand careful consideration and decisive action. The coming months will test its resilience, its ability to weather the storm and emerge stronger. The strength of its economy, the stability of its political system, and the spirit of its people will all be put to the test. The Philippines will need to draw upon its deep reserves of unity, fostering a sense of common purpose and shared destiny. And it must also leverage its alliances, working with its international partners to navigate the challenges ahead. Mass unemployment and hardship loom, casting a shadow over the nation's economic prospects. Many families are struggling to make ends meet, and the social safety net is being stretched to its breaking point. This is stretching government resources to the limit, forcing difficult choices about priorities and resource allocation. The government must find innovative ways to support its citizens and stimulate economic growth. The business community must innovate and adapt, finding new ways to create jobs and generate wealth. Entrepreneurs must be encouraged to take risks and invest in the future. All the while, the public demands answers, accountability, and transparency from their leaders. Citizens are eager to participate in shaping the future of their country. The nation's fate hinges on forging a unified response, a collective effort to overcome the challenges and build a brighter future for all Filipinos. This response must reach beyond politics, beyond fear, and beyond narrow self-interest. It requires a commitment to the common good and a willingness to work together for the benefit of the nation. Will Beijing's gambles succeed as it seeks to expand its influence in the region, or will Manila's resolve inspire the region, demonstrating the power of democracy and self-determination? The outcome will echo far beyond Philippine shores, influencing the geopolitical landscape of Southeast Asia and beyond. It will play a significant role in shaping the future of great power competition, as the United States and China vie for influence in the region. The story is still unfolding, with new developments emerging every day. The choices made now will have lasting consequences, shaping the lives of generations to come. We'll keep following this crisis as it develops, providing you with the latest updates and analysis. How should the Philippines respond to these challenges, and what strategies should it adopt to secure its future? What role should the world play in supporting the Philippines? And how can the international community help to ensure a peaceful and prosperous future for the region? Share your thoughts below and let us know what you think the Philippines should do to navigate these challenging times. In moments like these, knowledge and unity matter most.